morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Again, we're in the trading room. It's pretty early. It's an Asian session, but I decided I'm going to record the daily webinar right now because we're going to go through all the charts to look for trade setups as well. So those of you on YouTube who are looking at this video, I've been doing this free for the last 4 weeks daily. I still have hundreds of videos that I've been doing regularly for free. And after this week, it will be probably about 3 videos a week, but they would all be on different, one in crypto, one in metals and stocks and all of that, and one in Forex, just to keep them short. But at least 3 videos a week you're going to be getting. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you put your notification, because I am not giving you exactly time or the exact day when they're going to be out, but they will be out at least once a week. That means you will get the notification, and you might get it as early as now. Right, like within, I'm recording this now, this should be out in about, now it's 6 a.m. Now it's about 3 a.m. in London, 3:30 in London. It should be out in about 3 hours in London time. Right, by the time I'm finishing our recording, and by the time it's processed, and by the time it's out there for you. So you might get it pretty early if you get the notification. Please set that up. And watch it. If you like it, share it. And we're hoping that you're going to share it to everyone. If you would like to learn this stuff, if you'd like to join our group, or if you're seeing this for the very first time, go watch more of my videos first. And then if you would like to learn it and you would like to do that, send me a Skype message. So type that is going to be MANGAL 457. A lot of people are seeing this video for the first time because we'll be sharing it quite a lot. So hopefully that, this video gets out to more people. You see it, you would like to learn this stuff, send me a message there. It's more than just a training course. I'm not just selling you a training course. It's a group of much more worthy than a trading course, right? This is not about selling training courses. It's about, do you want to be a successful trader? That's the whole thing. And that is why I don't have a website as yet. If I was in the business of selling course, I would have not one website, but 2 websites. I'll be doing a lot of promotions. I'll be telling you about 50% reduction. I'll be telling you about New Year's reduction, Black Friday reduction. I'll be telling you about, I'm giving you this reduction because of all of that stuff. That's promotion. That is when you're actually selling stuff. I'm not in the business of doing that. Now, am I in the business of training traders? Yes. Would you like to become a successful trader? Send me a message. That's all. Thank you. Let's move on. So let's start with the daily. If you were following my videos for the last 3 weeks, and this week you have a chance to, you would see the amazing way the wave analysis work. Remember when we were in here, we said this will break the top here. That's the minimum requirement. It doesn't have to break this top, but even if we break that top, you can buy. You just have to buy very cautiously. Remember when this flat happened, I said you can get a buy here, but you would have to buy cautiously because at any one time you're going to get a move like this down. And that's the minimum, right? This could drop here and go back up. Why do we know that? Because we're looking for specific patterns. And you might not be able to understand that as it stands right now if you're not a wave analysis person, or if you haven't completed the course the way we do it, right? So what we're looking for is a possibility of a running flat forming here. Now, there are 2 possibilities in this chart. And if you understand the way we look at patterns, you would understand what I mean by there are 2 possibilities. One of the possibilities is that this would be a running flat. This comes here and go right back up. The second possibility is that there is a flat right in here. Right? Depends on how you look at it. There's either a running flat there or a contracting flat that is of a smaller degree. If we look at it then this is a slow climb to the top, which we normally call an A-B squeeze pattern. We're going to go into that later on. And this is totally going to drop to retest the low. Remember, if you look at my very first set of videos and the one that I did in daily, I said we might very likely retest this low. There's a high probability for that to happen. And I showed you that this arrow I showed you is that there were corrections of this magnitude and they still drop. So either we're going to make a new high, we're going to come here, make a new high and then drop, or we're starting that drop right now. So you would say, well, you're just saying either it's going to go up or you're just going to go down. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is the possibilities and how you're going to manage your trades if you get into the trade now. There's probably a sell setup today. And if you get in that sell, knowing that this might not be the final drop and that there's still a possibility for one more up, is very important because that will decide how you manage the trade moving along. That's the importance of knowing the two variations. And even if you get into if you get into the sell and you got out of the sell because it's going back up, and then you get into buy, when you get to the top, you would know what to do with the trade. Here's a good example. Why do we want to know that this could come back down? Because if you got in the buy here and you heard that somewhere else, someone said, oh, we're in an uptrend, we're going up, so you can buy it and keep it. And I'm telling you, no, wait a second. We haven't confirmed an uptrend as yet. There is a high probability for it to go down. You would put that trade to break even, right? Instead of keeping it, you would either put it to break even or you'll move your stops very tight so that you're out of the trade in a much earlier position. So let's go with this simple one. You took the trade, but you put it to break even, and then you got break even. Congratulations. You've learned something about the charts. You've learned about wave analysis a little and how we manage these trades. So you got it for break even because you know that there is a possibility for it to go back down. And that possibility was a high probability based on the patterns we have. Now, if you didn't know of that possibility and you don't know the probability of that happening, you're likely going to keep the trade. You might have a stop here, you might have a stop here, you might have a stop here. It doesn't matter where you have that stop. There is still a possibility for this thing to come right back down to the bottom and take you out. If you knew of the possibilities, you would manage your trade differently. That's the importance of this. That is where wave analysis comes in. If we knew that this was a confirmed uptrend, we would manage the trade differently. But it's not confirmed as yet. And that is why you're going to be cautious. Silver broke the top. Told you if you're in a buy, be very careful because once we break that top, and I mean this top, once we break that top, the high probability is we're going to come right back down. Now we came down, it dropped. I said, okay, there was a small consolidation here, but that might be too small. I would like to see a bigger consolidation before I confirm, before I get into the next longer term sell, which is how I'm looking for a sell setup right now, not a buy, a sell setup. So it dropped a little more. We thought we'd have a running flat. On Friday, once it started to drop like this, we said, well, when it does this, there's a probability they will do this and they can go down. But I also give you two other possibilities on Friday. So if you go back and look at the Friday webinar, you'll see that there are two possibilities. One is that this might be a small consolidation itself, and then we start a bigger one here, then drop. Either way, we're expecting the drop. We're not expecting this to go back and break the top. It could, but we're not expecting that, and we don't have enough reasons to make that conclusion, to even make a suggestion like that right now. To even look at the chart that way, there is no reason. There will have to be a structural change in the chart, which does not, you will see it, but it's not there as yet. Most likely, we're looking for sell setup. So, which means every sell setup we get, we will take starting from now. Starting from today, any sell setup in the chart would be a sell. Would that be the sell that be the one to drop? Not necessary. But if I get a sell setup here today, I'll sell it. It might just do this and go back up. I will take the sell, I'll get it for break even. It will break the top and it will likely repeat that process. I'll take the sell and I'll put it to break even. They might even come a little lower, then go back. I'll probably get a small portion of it. And if they go back up like this, we might suggest, if they come beyond this part, I think I'm going into too much details for you guys. Anyway, we're looking for all sell setups. This will confuse traders who are not wave analysis traders, because what I'm explaining, my traders would immediately follow. But you might not be able to follow all those steps and keep it in your head if you don't know the patterns I'm talking about. So let's go on from there. We're looking for sell setups. Gold, we're looking for sell setups, make it short. At least one more sell. Now, there could be short-term buys in the gold, like this was a short-term buy. This might come back here and give you another short-term buy. It might come back here again and give you another short-term buy. And once it keeps doing this, we would assume that all these are short-term buys and we're going down. Somebody asked me, what is the potential of it going up from this point without breaking the low, right? We're looking at this pattern, and is there a potential of this thing going up from here without breaking the low? Yes, that's possible. Because breaking this low means that pattern is a confirmed pattern and you could consider it finished. It doesn't have to go break the low. But there is one scenario whereby this is the top of the entire structure. This is your first impulse. This is the correction, and we're totally going to be dropping. And that is possible. So that is why every sell setup you get, you might want to take it. We'll see where it goes from there, right? So if we get sell setups here today, we'll take it. If we get buy setups, it depends on from where you get a buy setup. You can consider a short-term trade to the upside. Euro, I wanted to keep this arrow here. Remember, this arrow was first at this level. And then I said, if they make this, they might go up. And once we get it flat, we said, okay, they're going to break the low and then go up. It's likely that you will get this to complete that pattern. And we're getting it now. So I think we might go up a little more. We might consolidate here and go up a little more. And then we would look for sell setups. Because if that is the running flat and that would confirm the running flat, we're going to get one piece more down. Take this out. That's useless. So would the one piece down means total downside, or is it still possible they're going to go up? It's still possible they can go up because we're still expecting them to break this top. So I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be surprised if this comes here, drop like this, and then go back and break the top before they start a drop. There is going to be that big down move, but it's not happening as yet. If they're going to go from here, then good for us. We'll be in the sell. Right? It would be good for all of us because we will be in the sell. That would be a contracting flat. It's rare, but it could happen. Right? What we're looking for is the possibility that this would make some corrections here and make one more move up at least. So if you're going to buy today, you're going to buy if we get a buy setup, but you will take it with caution. But if you get sell setups, and even if you get sell setups from here, you can start considering selling, because not necessarily it's going to be like this, but I think you might get a three-wave structure, which means this might just be a V-wave. Your sell is going to be break even. Again, if you get a sell setup here, we'll take it. So let's say we get a sell setup here now. We can take this, but we are aware that it might just do this and, do this and then go back up. Because we are aware that at least one more up here before they go down is possible within the structure. And having that knowledge, being aware of that structural setup is what will make you be cautious of your trading. That's the amazing thing. So is this the sell that is going to go? I don't think so. But if you're in the sell and it goes, good for you. You can't lose in that. And if you're in the sell and it doesn't go, you can get out for break even or a very small loss if you're wrong about it. Pound, we expected this to go up. And I said all they will do is break the top. So if you take the trade, and you should take the trade, it's a trade to this top and it's not going very fast. So you got out for break even. And you might get another trade here today. You can probably see this in the 15. You will get another trade here today, and it will probably go like this and then go like this, and then it's going to drop. So what I'm going to do is wait for the drop. I'm no longer going to buy it because the risk to reward in the buy is too small. I just wanted to break this top, and then I'll be looking for a sell setup. This entire bigger structure is downside. We showed you that already. That even if this is going to go, there's a rare chance it's going to take off. It could, but that's very rare. Most times what you'll find happen in these patterns, you'd find it just break the top and come right back down. See, if you look at all of them, break the top and come around. This one of them is going to drop like this before we go back up, which is an equivalent of this one. Right? That's the importance of it. So Aussie, I told you we're not selling Aussie. If you take any Aussie trade, sell. This one is going to be a short-term trade. If you remember, go back, watch the Friday webinar. I said you might want to take one like this. If you take that as short-term, because we're expecting this to go back up there. And I think this buy was the buy we took also that we got break even out of. It came back deeper, no problem. We bought that because we assumed that that is the one that is going to go. But then it came deeper, made a three-wave structure here. I still think we were expecting one more down before they go up. This is an up structure. Right? This is a bigger correction for upside. So I don't think this is the one that's going to go. But if that is going to go, we get a consolidation here. We're going to buy it to this top. I truly think they should come back one more down, then go. So we will see if we get the one more down today. It might be a sell setup if we get it, and we'll go with it. Is this a good buy setup as it's forming right now? Not the best one, but we can give it a try if we see. The worst case is you're going to get out for break even if it doesn't go well. I don't think this is going to go far. I'll wait some more on that. I want to see a bigger flag or a bigger consolidation before I go. New Zealand. New Zealand is in a big sideways. So I'm going to show you the daily in New Zealand because I was watching that pattern over the weekend, wondering what to do with it. And then I said, let me go back. I know New Zealand makes a lot of running flat, right? So you can see I select a series of running flats to show you that the New Zealand does that pretty often. This is not, new to the New Zealand. And then you will notice something else. After they made the flat, the up move doesn't go very impulsive immediately. Kind of make a short impulse, a lot of consolidation, then go. Right? I saw it here, and we saw it here. It kind of make a sharp impulse, a lot of consolidation, and then drop. This one, it dropped, it made a lot of consolidation, and then so the consolidations are right at the top of it. So is this going to be a drop, Or is that a consolidation like this one for upside? Right? Both are possible at the moment, but because if it goes up from here now, if this goes up from here, all we're going to end up with is another running flat here, right? And then a continuation. See that? But if it comes down, if this starts to fall, then there's a question of whether we are even going to retest the low, or if it is just going to be a bigger correction and then go. So we come into this. If you have that knowledge, you come into this and then you said, okay, show me what it's doing right now. So what it's doing right now is we have this single one. We really don't have, this one doesn't match it. I think this one is mostly there. So we're looking for this possibility of, do we have a complete pattern in here? And no, we don't. There's a lot of, for many reasons, I'm not going to go into it. There's still a high probability that this thing could do this, go back here and still drop before it goes. So ups and downs in here are still possible, which means we're going to be careful of any trade we take on this pair. Right now, there is no setup and no trade setup for you to take there. Swiss kept going. I remember I said, watch this piece. We had divergence. That divergence is gone, but you still have to be careful because they were curving at the top, and on the 60, you were getting some divergence. See that 60-minute divergence there? So I said, be careful of this because you might get a deeper correction that might be the equivalent of this. I don't really think this one is starting the downside again. This could be just an equivalent of doing something like this and then go. So we will watch this piece to see whether we're getting sell setups or buy setups. And all of them will be short term until we have a very good correction. So right now we might be heading for a sell setup today. Or if they drop lower, if this comes back lower in here and do this, we will not get a trade today. We'll get a trade tomorrow, but it will be a sell. If this stays right here and take off from there, we will get a buy setup back to this top. Both trades will be short term. So this upside will be short term. If they come here and they go there, that will be a short term trade as well. Why short term? Because you're in a correction. And the correction goes up and down within a range for a period of time before it left. And if we assume that we're making a correction like this, which remember the last time I did it point by point, tracking it for you, right? We would do the same thing here for this week. I was pointing out pieces in that correction. What is the next piece we were expecting and what is the next trade? So in a short term, we might get a buy tape today because I think if this is starting the B wave correction up, this part up, then they might, you might get smaller trades here to the upside. You could come like this. We might get a sell setup. We might get another buy setup, another sell setup, then go. Or we could go from 1, 2, 3, and then take off. I truly believe we're making a correction here, but we will see which one it is. Right now, as of this moment, we will be looking for a buy. That could change within the next hour. And all that depends on what this one is going to do. If this comes lower, there's no buy setup. If this goes from here, there's a buy setup. Right? Why that is important? Again, why are these things important? Right? You're going to say, but you're saying, well, we're going to buy or we're going to sell. Again, right? One guy even said that. You just said you can buy the Swiss or you can sell the Swiss. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is based on the pattern that the Swiss is going to give us for the next couple hours, we're either going to get a short-term buy, this goes up, or we're going to get a longer medium-term sell. So at some point in time, within the next couple of hours, we could cancel that buy setup and say, you know what, the buy setup is no longer valid because it's actually going for a sell setup. The pattern that it's making right now is going for a sell setup. And you don't know that because you don't have enough information in the chart to make that decision. And that is why you need to learn pattern recognition. How do you recognize these patterns as they are forming? How do we make that change? How do you see, well, okay, what is it telling you now? And what is it telling you 3 hours from now? See, if you're taking these short daily trades on the 1 hour, that could change within a couple hours, especially when you're in a corrective structure in the middle of the correction or in the start of the correction as this is. Yen, we got the upside. I told you be careful, right? Because at this point, I think I showed you a lot of options of what we're looking for. See all these lines of why we're looking for this, why you have to be careful of the trade now, right? I showed you the 1 hour divergence in the trade. Be careful of it. You're starting to get a lot of divergence in here. So if you took the trade, you will move your stop. As a matter of fact, you remember I got out of the trade somewhere here, and I was supposed to get back into this trade here, which I didn't get back into because on Friday I was busy and I wasn't in front of my charts. I even took a loss on Friday on the CAD that we took because we bought the CAD and we had an entry in the Swiss. And the CAD gave us break-even trade. I think most of my traders took the break-even. I was not there when that happened, right? Well, it was my son's birthday on Saturday, so Friday I was pretty busy getting things ready for that. He had a wonderful party, by the way. He enjoyed himself. And I think that's the most important thing for me, is that he has got some fun in his life and he's enjoying it. He had a blast with his friends then who came over. So he's 5, by the way, for those of you who don't know. So I had to do everything. He's not going to do anything there, right? So this one went, it came back. If you took that trade, the worst case is you got break even out of it. That's like the worst case that should happen. Right now, I think we're in another consolidation, and I mean a bigger one right now. I can see this trying to do this, so it might turn out to be a bigger consolidation here, and we will continue to go. If they consolidate within the zone, we're going to have one more up. Can they go one more down? I still think it's possible. Until we negate this one, we're still going to look for that one more up. So one more up to this one, and then the possibility for one more down until it breaks out and keep going up. Then we're going to go with the bigger structure, which is this one. I think I explained that in details in one of the webinars. Just watch the webinars, you're going to see it. Maybe this week I'll do them separately and then explain in more details too. CAD, this was the one we sold in the correction, right? We got in a little too early. So we sold it somewhere in the correction, I think, in here. I wouldn't remember. I think somewhere in here we sold with a stop here and it actually came back down. This was your, oh no, we sold this breakout, this breakout with a stop here. And this was your exit strategy when it pulled back. If you were there, you closed that trade. I wasn't there, I couldn't close it. And then it came down back. So you could have taken a smaller loss or you got a loss in the trade. So I took the loss, but it's still in concern. Again, that is why it's important. You have to be, when you're trading within this correction, you have to be in front of your chart and you have to manage the trades because these are very small trades. So we took it that it's going to break out if it breaks out. We didn't take it for if it's just going to come here. We take it for if it's going to break out. And it didn't break out. So in any case, that's okay. It's still in consolidation. I think we need to focus on this a lot this week. Why we need to focus on this a lot? Remember last week we had a similar structure in the Swiss and a smaller one on the yen, and both of them took off. But the CAD didn't go anywhere. CAD was the only one last week that did not take off, right? This was the low. This was the low. It had an impulse just like the yen had an impulse, just like the Swiss had an impulse. The Swiss consolidated and then took off. So we can go back and look at that. I'm going to do it very quick. See, we had an impulse, we had a consolidation, and it took off. Go back to the yen. We had an impulse, we had a consolidation, and it took off. But on the CAD, we had an impulse, and we are still in the consolidation. You see? So this week, I would be focusing on this trade. If this is going to take off, don't miss it. Right? If you miss the yen and the CAD and the Swiss because you weren't sure, you're not confident, you don't understand what the patterns are doing, now they're telling you, look, you saw those two? We might repeat exactly the same thing on this one, which means as soon as this low is broken, which I think will be broken today, clear that, erase. As soon as this is broken, we will start to look for this trade up. Now, I don't think this is the one is going to go. I think we might come back to the top and go back there and then go. But if this is the one that is going to go, we will be in it. So we will be looking for buy setups. I'm not looking for sell setups on the CAD. If the CAD is going to fall from this point, it's going without me. Based on the patterns I see, I'm not looking for sells. Now it could go down, and I may not be in the trade, and you're going to go, oh my God, look, he's so wrong about it. I don't care. Because that's not that's not what my analysis is telling me. So I'd rather be wrong, but I'm not in a trade. But when I'm right, like on the Swiss and on the yen, we should be in those trades, and we were in those trades. So if you miss those two, don't miss this one this week. Keep following us. We're going to give you a step-by-step. Aussie Swiss, still going up. Watch it when it comes in. Now you have to be careful of buys. The buys are from here and from there. But now you'll have to be careful. You can still buy, but you have to be careful because as they come to the top, the chances are they could go back down. Now, they don't have to because we have a big consolidation here. This could be, continue to go. So we will still take trades if we get buy setups, and we'll put them to break even and see how far they go. Aussie yen, this was a great one. Friday, go back, watch. I told you this is a perfect buy setup. You could put your end shorter, you could wait, put your stop under the low here, and that's a good trade that goes. See, it hit the top. Now at this point, you have to be careful. Again, is this all the correction? If this is all the correction, and I think it could be, that means we're going to continue to go up, especially if you get a consolidation here, we'll definitely look for buy setups. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is now coming up. I think the first buy we took here didn't go well, which means we took it off a break even or a small profit, depends on it. This one went, but that one, you wouldn't have probably got that trade unless you had an intrader there. But if they go today again, you can take this trade, and this one could probably go. I wouldn't be surprised if this is all the consolidation. This could take off. So keep your eyes on this one. You notice what it has in it? A CAD. Remember I told you the CAD dollar is still in that consolidation and can break out? Keep your eyes on the Aussie CAD. I actually like the Aussie CAD more than the CAD dollar because I can see this consolidation much clearer, and I can tell you, hey, I know what this is going to do. So this is a perfect breakout here. This thing consolidated for a while, and this trade, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this week. You got this last a couple of weeks ago, you could get that trade there. So keep your eyes on it. Aussie CAD, dollar CAD, these are good trade setups for you. Let's go Aussie, New Zealand, stay out of it. Remember I told you this downside is not sustainable. It's not going to go. Stay out of it. It's going up. It's not buy. Forget about that thing. It's a mess. Swiss dollar, we want, Euro pound. We said Euro pound is not ready for the upside because there was a flat here. They will at least come back and retag the low before they go. Now they retag the low. They even dropped a little lower. So now you have to be careful of something else that could form. A running flat. See that? So this could go one more up here. And then that could become a sell setup way back to this level because this becomes a running flat pattern. And if that pattern plays out the way you expect it to play, we're going to come retest this low. So if we tag the low, what happens to the biggest structure? Well, nothing. Actually, nothing. If this comes and tag the low here, that doesn't change the bigger structure. This doesn't suddenly becomes an impulse though. This could still be a running flat that comes here and then drop. But if they tag this and they come back here, we know they're going to come here. But this might be, because of the flatness of this thing, it might end up going back up one more. But if they break this low, we're still expecting one up, one down, at least for now, because I still don't see that move as an impulse to the downside, right? This move coming down, yes, but the whole thing is not impulsive, and I'm just cautious. But now we know what to do in the lower time frame. Expect a buy setup today, which is very likely going to happen. I think you're going to probably see this make one more spike up. Not necessarily a big one, but you're going to get a spike up somewhere here. Maybe not all the way to this top, more something like this. And then we could see a drop because this here would be the equivalent of the previous one. We can actually, they don't necessarily have to be equal. So this arrow is irrelevant in terms of its size, but it gives you a clue, right? It gives you a clue of what to expect. I think the line would be more important because, well, not necessarily. They can break out and come back in. But you have an idea that there's going to be a trade. You get the trade. If it makes a sudden impulse, take the profit out. If it goes slow, just move your stops with it. Right? There are basic ways how to do these things, which is why we hold your hand. Sometimes traders are, and this is very important, traders who are new, you can look at all of this and it might happen in front of your eyes and you still can't take the trade. How do I know that? I have 500 plus traders in my group who we manage it. And we know we're in a trading room together. We said, okay, let's take this trade. And we click the trade and we actually have tens of people who click the trade. And there's still about half of the group who are in the room don't click the trade. Confidence is not there to click it. And that is why we have the trading room, which works live, so that we give them the confidence to click trades. We give them the rules of how they're going to manage. We do all of that so that they're able to trade. Just not training, you giving you a series of video will never make you a successful trader. I don't know how much I can repeat this, but I said it in every one of them. And the trolls are killing me because of that, right? Because they're selling courses and they're like, you're selling courses too. I'm like, no, that's a difference. The training purpose, the whole training, we are more focused on the training that makes you a successful trader, to guide you through step by step of each trade, each individual trade, and each behavioral pattern is more important than just giving you a series of videos. You will not be successful with that. You never will be. Try playing football by watching videos, or playing any game by watching videos, or doing anything by watching videos, right? Try becoming, scientist by just watching videos. Not going to happen. You have to get into the lab and you have to do the test. You have to physically do it. Otherwise, you'll never be successful at it. So that's the difference. Watch it. We'll show you this step by step. Yen, euro yen. We were looking for the buy setup. By the way, I kept these as I told you, I'm going to keep these lines here. Go back, watch at my video. I said we will leave these lines in the euro yen because you would learn something about pattern. So starting from this date, I think you should start it from this date here, where that line is. Where that line is. Remember, we said it's going to come up here, and then we were expecting it to come back down, and we were expecting it to go back up, and we were expecting it to come back down. So far, it went up. That's one. Well, we were lucky, or that's coincident. It came down, that's two. We got lucky again, or that's coincident. It went up back, or is going back up at least, that's three. Again, we're lucky, or that's another coincidence. Because one guy said to me, he said, yeah, you guessed the direction good, but that's all coincident. You're just guessing. I'm the best guesser in the world. Literally, I'm the best guesser in the world. Nobody guesses this better than me. If you think I'm guessing it, I've got to be the best person at guessing things in the world. I cannot guess what my wife is going to say to me next, but I can guess what the chart is doing. That's crazy. It's not about guessing. Why do we look at this way? Because we have seen that and we know how it should behave. We know its structural patterns. And then we said, if it's making this structural pattern, this is how it should look like. Right? When you plant a seed and you know what seed you plant, you know what that tree would look like when it grows up because you have seen a million of those trees before. It's exactly the same thing. We have seen so much of these patterns before that we have a very clear vision of how the pattern should develop and what it should do. Now, not all of them work exactly that way. Not all the trees grow exactly the same, but they have similarities. One of them might not even grow up, might die, and the seed never comes up. That doesn't mean, hey, you were wrong about all the trees looking alike, right? So some of the trades might not behave that way because the pattern we identified or the one we think we're looking at is not the one that is forming at that moment. But that is rare. Go through and look at all my charts. You will see that's rare. That's not a common thing. The more common thing is we get it correct because the patterns 90% of the time behave exactly the same way. Now, when it get there, we were looking for the buy. I think one of my trader definitely is in the buy because he told me. Again, Friday I was not there. We would have gotten this buy. We were waiting for a flag here. We didn't get a flag, and then short above the top might have been a good idea. If you didn't get that, no problem. You can still get one more to this level to break that, and then we'll be looking for the sell. Euro Swiss. Stay out of this. By the way, this one should have been closed here. I end up taking the loss on this one because I didn't close it, and that's simply because I wasn't there. Remember I said to my traders, if it starts to do this, as a rule, we close it when you're at the bottom here, you close it here. That means you would have closed it if your risk was this. You would have closed it for less than half of what you risk, which is okay. That's a small trade, but just to show you how we manage and how we teach. Now, I wasn't in front and I didn't put the stop and I walk away and I was okay. Like I said, that's okay with me. No problem. I'm not worried about that. So what we're looking for here now is what is happening with this. It's going up a little more, no trade setups. Because it doesn't give you the structure for a bias yet. It's probably come retest the top. It will probably come here, retest this top, but then drop here again. So we'll probably look for that sell from there. The buy is not an option right now. It's not going up as an impulse. It might make another running flat in here before it goes up there too. Euros going sideways, and this downside is not very aggressive, right? The downside is not very aggressive. As a matter of fact, they made a contracting flat here without going up, right? This one just went up, but it didn't break out, so that would be a contracting flat, and it's coming down. You might get small trades here, but it's not going fast. I think we probably stay away from that today, unless we get another correction. That makes sense. That is tradable. Now that makes sense. You're in New Zealand, same thing. If you took the buy, you got break even, and you had a lot of chance for that. It's kind of consolidating, so I think we might get another one. They're kind of like doing this. They might do this and then drop. If we get all of this consolidation, we'd look for another sell. Right now, there's no good trade setup in it. Not the buy, not the sell. Euro CAD. Let's wait on this. It has a CAD in it, and it should be downside. It could come a little more. I could see them dropping a little more here before they go back up, but we don't have a good sell setup in it, so I think we stay away from it for now. It could go up too. I think this has, sorry, this has a CAD, it could go up. So this might go, but this small pattern here might come here first, then go. Right, so be careful of this. There could be a first drop here before we go because there's a small sell setup forming. We'll wait on this. This is not the best one. The Aussie CAD is the best one, so we'll go with the Aussie CAD. But the bigger pattern here is upside. Right, see the bigger pattern is upside. This bigger corrective structure is upside, except that this could come here first and then go. And for the sell setup on the 1 hour, it's most likely downside first. Right, this is a flag in here. This is a small corrective structure that should come down here first before they go. So I think we should stay out of this for now. Pound Aus, we wait for sell setups. This was an expanding flat. It did go, it broke the top. So if you get a sell setup here, we'll be selling. And that means this one could break the low, could break through the structure. Let me pull this all the way to the top here. Take out this, smaller ones. I'll probably just do this and pull it across there. So I could see this dropping, which means if we get a sell setup there, we'll go for it today. Pound yen went higher. That was with the pound news on Friday. This was a small one. It did just go, but not very far, which means if I get a sell setup here, I'll take it. Why am I looking for a sell setup on this? Well, it still hasn't confirmed the bigger move. It could start confirming that they're going to go higher, but this structurally has not changed. And I don't see a structural change in here for the upside. We're trying to get here eventually, but they could make a drop here first before they go, right? We could see this piece here could give us that drop before they go. So, but it's better to focus not on this one so much, mostly focus on the pound dollar, because that one has a better structure for the fall. And if yen goes up and dollar fall, you might not get the pound yen to go down as fast as you want. Could it be a buy setup here today? I'll probably buy another yen pair, not the pound yen, simply because of this pattern here. Just keep the pound yen, buy another pair, just like this one. If we didn't buy this, but we would have bought, if I wasn't in the room, but if I were in the room, we would buy the pound Swiss. This was the buy setup for the pound Swiss here. See that one? That was a buy setup. So we do trade sometimes the volatility, and we said if you're going to trade the volatile move, take a buy on the pound Swiss because you had a pattern for a buy here. This was very clear. So this was going to break out, and you might get another buy setup here. So the pound Swiss might be the best buy because we still think it could come to this level. So today, again, we'll be looking for a buy in the pound Swiss. Pound New Zealand, still going sideways. Not the buy, not the sell here is, this piece might still go a little higher. We'll still see this coming here, or they will come back here, and then this becomes a big correction for one more up and then down. We're still going sideways. So it's just a matter of which up and down. If you get a sell setup here, it might be short term. You can get a sell setup here that might be short term back to this level. All you're going to get is a big flat in here, one more up and then down. So if we get a sell setup here, it would be a short-term one. You might be getting a sell setup here in the 1 hour. Yep. You could get a 1 hour sell setup forming right now. And you could get this trade back to the low here. So this is a trade you might want to focus on today. Just back to the low, and then you take the profit off, because after that, if they do drop to this level, they are going to go right back up. Because we would look at this as a possible running flat here for one more down and then up. See? Pound Swiss we did already. Pound CAD. Pound CAD, this was the sell. And remember I said Friday I closed my sell, which is good. It went up. Pound CAD still has to break this top. And it seems like we will break the top. So remember the two patterns I told you about? Remember this one here when this was forming, why I closed my trade? Because the possibility of this happening and go right back up. Watch that video. 1, 2, 3, and go right back up. So there's a buy setup here today. Now this has a CAD in it. See that? So if you're going to look for a buy, there are 3 very good buy setups. The pound CAD, the Aussie CAD, and the dollar CAD. The euro CAD we can skip. You can choose whichever one you like. This one has to break this top. So remember what I said. This will go, break the top, and then come down. If it's going to come down, that's the downside. But first, it has to break that top. And that's the significance of breaking tops. That is the power of understanding how wave patterns they develop. Let's go. New Zealand yen. More upside, but be careful. Be careful of it when they start to do this. because that means you're going to get this. I'll take this out. I'm going to be looking for something like this. It can go a little more. I can see them pushing up a little more, but then we're going to get a drop and then we're going to go. So if you're buying here now, why is that important? If you're buying now from the top there, you have to be careful of moving your stops, that this thing will not just go forever. Right now, I'll be careful in moving my stops, right? So watch your case. This is going to go and then it's going to drop. New Zealand, Swiss. It's kind of going sideways, more up. So if you get buy setup, we can take it. New Zealand CAD. Does this have a buy setup? Let's go see. Remember, all the CAD trades have buy setups. New Zealand CAD. It could go up. You have a sharp move here and you're getting some consolidation in this one. Yep, we can see this coming back to break the top. So there is a buy setup here too. At least back to the top. And then we'll see where it goes from there. CAD yen. Do we have a sell setup? Remember I said we're looking for the sell in the CAD yen. We don't have a sell setup. But if it starts to fall, we can go with the trade. But there is no sell setup as it stands right now, not based on the strategy that I'm trading. I can see the sell setup coming, but it's just not there as yet. CAD Swiss also looks downside. Remember, we expect this. I showed you this pattern that once we're selling from the top, and I said once they come back there, you look for a sell setup again. We can look for the sell setups in the CAD Swiss. I can actually see them going up one more. There's a small flat there that could go up one more, but then we'll be looking for the sell setup. The bigger direction is the downside. This one did not go the way we expected to go, which is the bigger drop. That is this drop here, right? This didn't give you that drop. So if this one goes a little more, you will be looking for this drop. If we don't get it from here, then they can go a little more, drop. If you don't get it from here, they can go a little more and then drop. But the buy setups are not there. I'm not looking for a buy. We'll look for a sell in this one. Swiss yen, kind of going sideways. See where we are. Stay out of it. It's not if you sold this, you took it out for break even. Is there a buy setup in this? Let's see. No, not necessarily. I don't see the buy setup, so we'll probably stay at that. This was a buy. Told you look for the buy setup. Well, now you can actually get the buy. If they consolidate here somewhat, you can go for this buy to break the top, and then we'll look for sell setups. Once it breaks the top on the bigger structure, it's going to go down. US oil keeps going up, so this might be all the correction. And again, we just have to go back and relook at that entire pattern where we looked at it differently. We got that wrong. We looked at, well, why we got it wrong. Not that we didn't think it's going to go, but I think there were going to be one or two more before they go, which means we'll have to relook at it, see where it's not correct the way we looked at it. And when you get a lot of sharp waves like this, sometimes you do, misinterpret the way it's going. But that didn't stop you from buying. You bought this, you took profit. You bought this, you take profit. If you're buying here today, you're taking profit, which means an impulse, take profit because they'll consolidate. That's it. Just move your stops and take profit. Same with this one. You're buying, take profit. If you're going to buy, we said if you buy here, take profit. If you buy here, take profit. If you're buying here today again, take profit once it makes an impulse. Natural gas. Okay, this didn't go down either. So that would have given you, that would have given you a break even if you took the entry order, because it didn't go for 4 hours, and if it doesn't go, you have to get the hell out of the trade. So what is it doing? It's still likely going to go. All you're doing is consolidating within this range, right? Consolidating more. So you're still likely going to come here and then go. So we can look for the sell setup here again. If we get it, we take it. NAS 100 upside. That was a short-term buy. If you get a short-term buy, you can take it, and it's very short-term because now that you've broken the top, it could turn anytime, right? It could go a little more, but then anytime there's a good reason for this to go down some more. Big picture, it's kind of going sideways like this. Right, it's going up, but then you have to be careful that it could come back. So short-term, you can buy. We have a lot of divergence. Short-term, it's a buy. The long-term, there's no long-term traders in it right now. So if you get buy setups, take it, take profit. Same would be here, and same would be there. This was a good buy last week because you had this correction. We don't have, if we get a correction here today, that would be, or tomorrow, that would be a better buy setup after a correction. DAX was a buy, and you could buy this again if you get another correction. Probably wait. This one didn't come down as much as we'd expected to come down and then give the buy. So if they come down today, then that would be a buy setup. You want that drop down there to complete the pattern. Nifty, wait for flags. It actually gapped out of this flag. There was a flag here in the 60, but it gapped out of it. So I don't know if you had an entry or whether you'd be taking in the trade. That's a problem. Tesla are going sideways again more. I thought we were breaking out already. So watch this here. They might just do some sideways and go. Just consolidation and go. And Amazon, we're still in the consolidation. Amazon, we also left this to track it to see how these patterns are going to work. It's kind of still going up on this one. Might get one more up. I don't think this is the start of it because then again, this pattern is very, very, very slow. If we take this one, then you have a 1, a 2, and a 3. So at some point, this has to come back like this one. See, I'm going to leave it here, but we will see from which point it comes back because you didn't really have any buy setup. If you bought here and you think you're keeping it, well, then you might get a surprise because this pullback would definitely make you close it. Now, there might be a buy or sell setup here. I think we'll rather look for the sell, not the buy. Because even if it goes, it'll just break this top a little and then come right back down. You want the buy setup from one of these lows, from here or from here. That would be the better buy setup for you because then you get good risk to reward in the trade. This one is going down, but it's not moving fast, and you're gonna get more downside, but you're not getting good trades in it. I think we'll have to relook at these stocks. What some of my traders are doing, they're looking at stocks for long-term consolidation that are very cheap. And it's actually paying off very well. We have a lot of them at the bottom that I don't look at. That is from our traders. So this one went up again very well. This one, remember this pattern here. And your buy would have been anywhere. But I think this piece, you're expecting it to come a little more than go. But even if you bought, you're okay. If you bought from the bottom and you kept it, you're doing well. If you get another buy setup at the top here, you can go for it. I think we have a consolidation there. It's very small, but there's a small consolidation there. Wait for a bigger one and then take the trade. Reliance. Okay, we came down. Did we break this low? Because they're going back up. They did tag the low. That would be strange if they just tag the low and go back up. Because normally, if they tag the low and go back up, then it will become a buy setup once you break this. You break through here. Normally, you were expecting that when they go down, you'll have an impulse about this size. So watch this. If this becomes more of a consolidation, it's going to drop. Right? What the buy setup would be? It seems you're getting a buy setup here. This could be short term. Right? Very short term. Back to there and then down. Because only the long term come only if you break that up. Right? If they go back up, then we'll confirm that this was the final impulse down. Of the 1, 2, 3. I thought they'll at least come to about this level, which they normally do. Right? This is one of the ones where they don't go that far. Bitcoin. Okay, so if this keeps going up, it didn't come down far enough. I don't think it's an equivalent of this one. Right? This is not the equivalent. All you're getting is this one becoming a more complex one, right, within the structure. So if you get a 1, 2, 3 here, you're going to go back one more up. And that means this whole structure will become much bigger. The whole corrective structure will become much bigger. So now you just have to wait and see how it becomes. Take off this. This is gone. That was this one up. That's gone already. This one is not giving us any clear vision of what this pattern is going to be as yet. I don't think we're still going to look for an expanding flat, which could possibly be it. Something like this if they come down now. But if it comes here and go back up, then we would relook at the entire structure. This might be a more complex pattern in the making. Right? That happens and it becomes more complex. Do we have a buy setup there? Not really. Right? Even if you're taking these short-term buys, you'll have to get out fast because the pullback will take care. But this one doesn't have let's see, we don't have any buy setup in that as yet. Because I don't think we've completed this correction. So just be careful if you're buying. If there is a buy setup and you take the trade, you have to be careful. Buy setup would be this one going up, making a flag, and then go. That would be your buy setup. We don't have any right now. XRP, this one has a buy setup. This has a buy setup in it. So the question is, how far will it go? I remember this buy setup here, the small buy setup. This one was supposed to just come here and break this top, right? Which it did, but then it went a little higher. So this one is the same thing. Go break this top. So this would be a small trade. I don't think you're gonna see it come all the way back to this top. It's possible, but I don't think you're gonna see that. Not that they repeat themselves that often. So what I think you'll probably get here is you're gonna get this one coming back to this level, and then get the drop. And I think that is a possibility. Then watch it drops. Let's see. One of my traders was showing a different version of this. Okay, he's thinking that this is the low and this is the start of the impulse. That this might just come here, break this low, and then go back up without breaking the bigger low. Well, anywhere, like I said, anywhere in here, if you get it to drop in that range, so let's say from 17 to 10, anywhere within that range is a buy setup for a longer term trade, way back to 3, a much longer term trade. Let's go to 1 hour. There was a short-term sell setup here, and now it looks like we're consolidating. So if this goes back up here, you probably get one more down, just like this. 1, 2, 3. Get one more down and then go. That would be the buy setup. Right now, there's a short-term buy setup here forming, which means if you get this flag here, that becomes a short-term buy. Short-term because we're still in the consolidation. LTC, downside. I think if you get a sell setup here, this would be worth it. If you get a buy setup, it's going to be very short-term, just to break this top. But if you get this sell here, this will be, which means if this consolidate here more for a drop, a sell setup is better than a buy. Okay, this one will definitely give you a drop. Back to that level. It could still go one more, break the top, then do that. So the upside is very short-lived. The downside is the bigger one. Yeah. So, okay, let's see what else we're looking at. I think that's about it. I managed to do it in, well, not an exactly short time, but an hour or so, close to an hour. I hope we can split it in 3, so they're going to be very short for you at the end of this week. Next week would be that, right? So let's go. Let me stop the recording. By the way, for all the YouTube viewers, please watch and share. And my traders hopefully will share it as well. Like it, comment, and share. So let me stop the recording.